The same person feeding the children poison. And Mr. Producer, I want you to play a clip. I want you to play, it's only 60 seconds. I want you to play that clip and remind Tobagonians of how dangerous this woman is. And as the old people will say, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. Mr. Producer, play the clip for me. Yep. We coming? You see, brothers and sisters, under a previous PNM central government, Trinbagonians cried murder and said Dr. Rowley wicked and Rohan Sinanan nasty and he dirty and he wicked to everybody. And he killing poor people. And this lady called the actions of the previous administration corrupt and wicked. But when you look at what she did within the last couple days, on Christmas Day, you had a woman inflicting more pain and suffering on the people of Trinidad and Tobago in the last 9 months than was done in 10 years. Well, I know in the 10 years it had no pain and suffering. We had to take some bitter medicine. That is what we had to take because this country faced difficult times in the last 9 years. And so I just want to read out a couple of things if you missed it. Because you see, we used to ball when the police stop when we get a $1,000 ticket. But brothers and sisters, for every $1,000 ticket you get now, it's $2,000. I ain't knocking the police. We love the police. The police only following the law. And they want to tell us now, well, if you don't want the ticket, obey the law. But brothers and sisters, you know sometimes you're going down the road and something get effective on your vehicle while you're going. And you're only at the mercies of the officer who stop you. But the reality is that if the officer exercises the law, you would now have to pay $2,000. If your brakes light and walking, if you have one headlight, $2,000. Clip ready? Run the clip for me. Yeah. If you forget by one day to pay your insurance,
stop taking away people's means to feed their families. Who will feed their families when they cannot earn a living? In addition, traffic fines are too high. UNC government will reduce traffic fines across the board and implement state-sponsored driver education programs instead. What is publicly presented as a mission for public safety is really a scheme by this corrupt, wicked government to collect more taxes for revenue collection. We cannot ignore that the licensing authorities heavy-handed which have turned our roads into battlegrounds at daily roadblocks. This is not about road safety. This is not about road safety. Another tax drive. It is yet another tax drive by this government using the licensing authority to raise revenue. So when it's not property tax. So when it's not property tax, online inheritance tax is online tax after tire tax is tax after taxes, and now licensing authority taxes.
Sisters, you saw it, you heard it for yourself. The woman said she will reduce the traffic fines. But the first act that this woman did when she became Prime Minister within the first 9 months is to double every single traffic fine. And you telling me that when them win, everybody wins? It's only pain and suffering. And all of a sudden, the man who had all the mouth for Dr. Rowley get quiet. As the people say, get pip. Can't say a word. But you want to come and tell us that you are your own man. Can't be your own man. When you are bowing and paying homage to the national government in Trinidad, you stood up, you allowed the Prime Minister to come to Tobago, stand in the residence in Tobago, and hold a political meeting. Where has that ever happened? And now you want to call Tobago a dump. Lawlessness. Well, I want to say to Farley and his friends in Trinidad, I am a Trinbagonian, and I don't live in a dump. I live in one of the best countries in the world, Trinidad and Tobago, and I will stand proud as a citizen of this country. On top of the traffic fines, brothers and sisters, come January 1, you have increased customs duties, and you may say to me, but what does that have to do with me? If you increase customs duties, brothers and sisters, every single item on the shelf will increase. Your grocery bill is going to go up. The cost of buying a vehicle is going to go up. The furniture in the store is going to go up. Every single thing, the cost of living is going to double. So when they tell you they're giving you 10% increase, and we buy into the 10%, and they want to give you $10,000, and then tell you how to take the rest in bonds, how you getting the money? How you getting the money to pay for the increased goods, brothers and sisters? And I want to ask us a question. Are we, we just always ask this question on a platform, but this is a significant election for that question. Ask yourself, check every family member that you have. Are you better off now than you were in December 2021? Is life easier now in December 2025 than it was in December 2021? But I know some people who life get better for them. Because we have some people who drive in all kind of nice thing, and living in all kind of nice thing, and flying left, right, and center. Life that they never had before, they got in the last 4 years. And so, brothers and sisters, if we honestly answer that question, if we truly answer that question, we are going to understand how important this election is. Because I don't know about you, I cannot take another 4 years under that hapless bunch of jokers who have held Tobago back for the last 4 years. And in Pembroke, I touched on a subject. I want to touch on it a little bit tonight. You see the quarry? You see the quarry? That piece of real estate that belongs to Tobago, that we've prided ourselves every single year, that piece of real estate can do so much for Tobago. And I want to tell you, under 𝐂𝐨𝐦 and under Kelvin Charles, they moved the quarry from a struggling enterprise. And their intention was to bring the quarry to a level of profitability that would have seen Tobago benefit significantly. We're not to wait. And they want to talk about export license. Ask 𝐂𝐨 how many barges they exported material out of Tobago. And that's because governments before recognized the importance of the quarry to the economy of Trinidad and Tobago. But what we've created in Tobago all of a sudden is a bunch of people who are in charge of an entity that was on the road to profitability. We've created a hapless entity, an entity that is falling apart daily, an entity, brothers and sisters, that is on hard times, literally. And when you talk to every truck driver, you have a conversation with every truck driver, every contractor, they'll tell you that the level of productivity that they experience in the quarry over the years has dropped significantly. To the extent that you have no guarantees of getting not even a load of mixed aggregate when you go to the quarry on a daily basis. And that is what Trevor James, that is what Ashworth Jack has brought spell too. And I want to ask the question tonight. What is a liaison in the office of the Prime Minister in Tobago? Because all of a sudden, a minister is not good enough. None of the MPs in Tobago are not good enough to be a minister in the office of the Prime Minister with responsibility for Tobago. You give it to a man who bring the curry to its knees and you're calling the position a liaison. Can't give no instructions, can't sign nothing, has no local standard. And I'll ask the question, where did this position come from? How much is this person being paid in this position to act as a liaison between central government and Tobago? And that is what we have, brothers and sisters, that is passing for governance. But I want to say to each and every one of you, understand how important January 12th is. Understand that your life and the life of your children and your grandchildren depend upon the decision that you make come January 12th. You got to make this decision personal, brothers and sisters. You got to understand that if you choose to put back the people on the other side with a man who has proven himself to be a stranger to the truth every single time he gets up and speaks, if you make that decision to do that, you are putting your own life and the life of your children at risk. Because when you consider how many persons have been sent home, how many contractors have been out of work to the extent that they had to lay off workers, you tell me if Tobago is better off in December 2025 than it was in December 2021. I know for me, from what I could see, Tobago is in a worse position now than it was then. And we're talking about coming out of a pandemic. And you may say to me, what can be worse than a pandemic? Look at the Blue Party. They are worse than a pandemic. Mash up the economy. Mash up tourism. You, Petel and Kelvon speak to the numbers all the time. The Secretary of Tourism said when she came in that she's promising 100,000 flights, 100,000 seats or passengers in the first year. I don't even know if Tobago got to 100,000 visitors in the last 4 years. And I used to tell you what we're dealing with. I used to tell you the level of mismanagement that is taking place in Tobago today. And so when you go into the polls, vote for your self-interest, you know, and ask yourself, can I, with all good conscience, vote to give the TPP another 4 years in office when I'm on the block and all I'm getting is 10 on, 10 off? When I'm home and I can't get a food card and I can't get a hamper, ask yourself, when I cannot get a proper paying job, ask yourself, am I better off? When you look at the PNM's bold plan, brothers and sisters, in and out, up and down, they may call it pie in the sky, ain't no pie in the sky. The political leader has been able to lay out every single plan for the people of Tobago. And I've said to them, this is how we're going to do it. And so there's not much more that I can speak to. We have other speakers to come to drill down on other matters. Petal spoke about the ambulance, and you understand that your self-interest again, when you are in a situation that you require an ambulance, and you call and you can't get one, and the only working ambulance in Tobago that we own is the one that the PNM buy, then you understand what we're dealing with. You understand the pressures that we're under in Tobago. And you got to vote wisely come January 12th. And the final thing I want to touch on, you give you export license. And the same speed you give you export license, couple months afterwards, you come and you say, you could only export under certain conditions. Mama guy again. Mama guy again. And this is what this current administration in Tobago is celebrating. But I want to say to you, As I said in Pembroke, the symbol of the TPP is an anchor. And you know the dangers of anchor? And you could go on any search, and you'll see the dangers of an anchor. And I want you, when I lay out some of the dangers of an anchor, ask yourself if Tobago is not experiencing the effects of an anchor. You have significant risk of dragging, leading to collisions or damage to underwater cables. You have personal injury. You have environmental damage. You have equipment failure. Those are some of the things. That is why they just tell you don't anchor your boat down by Pigeon Point, because you're going to pull up the cables. And brothers and sisters, that is what we are experiencing today in Tobago. We are experiencing an administration that continues to hold back Tobago. We are experiencing an administration that is causing Tobago to drag behind every single other island in this Caribbean. You look throughout the Caribbean and look at the amount of flights places like Antigua and Grenada and St. Lucia get in. We're struggling to get one airlift out of Europe when the week come. And that is what these people have done to Tobago. And so I want to tell you tonight in Darren Spring Wim, make sure your duty is to make sure that Kelvon Morris is returned as your area representative. Because brothers and sisters, when you talk